So in this video, I'm going to be doing a graduate scheme review and application guide for Bay Systems. This is going to be an ongoing series I'm going to do. So at least once every month, I'm going to be picking a graduate scheme which is available out there and just picking everything apart and going through all the different aspects of the graduate scheme, basically doing a review on it and giving you a bit of a guidance on the application process so that you're a lot more informed on the actual graduate scheme if you do want to apply for that particular graduate scheme. So, what are we going to be looking at? Well, this is going to be the same throughout all of the graduate schemes I'm going to be assessing and reviewing. They're all going to have the same format. So, let's go through that now. First of all, we're going to give you an overview of the graduate scheme, what it entails, and basically look at the job spec and pick out what it is that you need to know. We're then going to talk about salary and benefits. We're going to talk about the entry requirements. So basically, what do you need to get into that graduate scheme? We're going to also talk about the location of that graduate scheme. That's quite important for a lot of people as well, knowing where they're going to be based or if there's going to be a lot of travel involved. That's an important factor to take into account. And last but not least, we're going to go through the application and selection process as well. Of course, this is all going to be like an overview. I'm not going to go too much in depth because you can actually go and find that graduate scheme, read all the information there in the job spec. This is just to give you an idea of what's out there, and hopefully, these videos are going to serve as an overview. You can watch lots of these videos in the series, and then you can get an idea of which graduate scheme you want to apply for and which graduate scheme is something that you might not want to go for. So that's my aim with this. It's not really to go into like a deep dive and basically pull out every single sentence from the job advert. That's not the point. You can do that yourself. I'm here to give you an overview of all the different aspects of the graduate scheme, and then, if I can, give you some help with the actual application process. So let's give you an overview of the Bay Systems graduate scheme. Well, what is it? Well, you're going to be working in the defense sector as a graduate systems engineer. The systems engineer doesn't have to be the systems engineer, you can be something else. But basically, if you go into one of their graduate schemes, they've got a bunch of different graduate schemes, by the way. It's like different routes. So you can go into different job roles depending on what your interests are. But essentially, the overarching sector or industry that you're going to be working in is defense. So if you're interested in that or you don't really care and you just want to get a graduate scheme, just know that it's going to be in defense. So basically, aerospace defense, the military related defense, that kind of stuff. And that's basically what Bay Systems specialize in. Okay, what's the salary? So salary is going to be £34,000 or £2,280, give or take, per month after tax. I always like to share the after tax monthly salary as well because all of a sudden it doesn't actually look as much as you think. Um, Not to say that 2.2 grand a month for a graduate is not a good wage, it is. But again, that whether it's a good wage or not depends on your personal circumstances. If you're living off that in the heart of London, you might have to do a lot of struggling. Whereas if you're living in the north of England and you're on that wage, you're going to be living like a king. So yeah, that's very subjective. But 34 grand, again, which is a headline salary, which is very, very nice, very, very healthy salary there. But yeah, 2.2k after tax. And to work that out, I've basically used a calculator just to save you time. And I used a couple of things. So, for example, I used the 1250L tax bracket, which is like the basic one. And then I've just put in a student loan for plan number two. So that's mainly, I think that's what most of you guys are going to be on. So yeah, again, nice salary, but again, subjective to your circumstances. What are the entry requirements for this graduate scheme? Well, it's two bachelors, and some nationalities might be restricted. So, again, do your due diligence and just double check which scheme you're actually choosing for Bay Systems. But most of them are two bachelor's degree. You just need a two bachelor's. Um, it can be it can be any degree. However, for some of these schemes, you do need to have a related degree. So, if it's a systems engineer, probably going to need some sort of um, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, or systems engineering background to be able to excel in that particular graduate scheme. Some nationalities may be restricted. This is because of the nature of the role. It's in defense, so just make sure that if you're applying from outside the UK, just have a look at that and make sure that your nationality isn't restricted or something, because some of them, some if you're from a certain country, they may not let you go forward in the process. So just keep an eye on that. I mean, if you if your country is on the list, then I guess you just have to look elsewhere. But if it's not, which I'm sure a lot of countries are not, you should be all right. So where are the locations? Well, I've just listed them out here. Barrow, Filton, Frimley, Weymouth, Broad Oak, Wharton, Prestwick, and Brow. I'm going to be completely honest, except for Barrow, I have no clue where these other places are. But they are all over the UK. That I can assure you, because when I did my research, they were all over the UK, all from north to the bottom. So you can have a look at which place you want to be in, and just have a look at the actual graduate scheme as well. The actual stream that you're going to be following if you want to go through this graduate scheme. Where are they based? Or if they move you around, then again, those are the places they'll be moving you around. Key thing to note is it. Oh, my pen's fallen. Key thing to note is that it's not in. I don't see any big cities there, so they're not metropolitan cities. It's not London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, that kind of thing. So just something to bear in mind. These are like little towns of England. So yeah, you'll be pretty much in the middle of nowhere. You might not have a lot going on in those places. So yeah, if you're considering this graduate scheme, then there's just something to keep in mind. That's not to say that they are in the middle of nowhere, like you can't travel to a city, because some of these places are actually near to some big cities. But you just have to keep that in mind. If you don't have a car or something, then yeah, you're not really going to be in the heart of a city. If that's what you want, then look elsewhere. If that's actually good and you don't want to be in the heart of a city, you want to keep your costs low, perfect. Then this is a good scheme in that regards. What's the selection process? Well, there's a couple of different sections to this. Most important bit of the video, arguably. So we have an online form which you need to fill in. Let me get my trusty laser pointer out. So we've got the online form. This is a little bit different to the normal graduate hiring processes that we see in different graduate schemes. So pay attention. Online form, that's the same as the rest of them. Online assessment center. So right on the second thing, they'll actually get you to sit in an assessment center. They don't call it an assessment center, they call it, we are going to take you through some online assessments. However, the assessment center is basically what they're alluding to. So you're going to have a pre-recorded interview in that assessment center. You will have your online tests as well, and you will also you might have some group activities as well. But like I said, do your research if you really want to go for this graduate scheme to see what is in that online assessment center. Competency interviews. Once you've passed the assessment center, you will then be called to a competency interview, which is live. So this one here will be pre-recorded, and it's kind of part of the assessments that they get you to sit through. But the competency interview will then be live. And as far as I can see in the literature and the job advert that they put, that is the last stage. So you've only basically got 3 stages. But this online assessment bit, let me highlight this for you, because this is very important. So this section here, all right, so we've got the online assessment center and the pre-recorded interview. They are both part of the same process. So that's basically the same. It's in the same email. It's in the same stage. If that's stage 1, this is stage 2, this is also stage 2, and then this is stage 3. The stage 2 is the most important part of this process. So that's basically where it's going to be make or break. The competency interview, again, if you've passed the pre-recorded interview and the assessment center, you're like in the top 15% at least. I would say, just off the top of my head. I haven't really researched that or anything, but you're in the top percentile to get to the competency interview. So if you prepare well and you can find out where what the questions could be, and competencies are usually quite similar. So I've done a video on this as well. I teach it in my course as well. You can go through it if that is something of your interest to you. But yeah, there's only like a set number of competencies, and they'll probably ask the same stuff. And if you can just prepare for them, then you're good to go. Okay, so that's basically everything for the BAE Systems graduate scheme. Just going to finish off by saying if you want to apply to the graduate scheme, go ahead and apply. Just search up Base Systems, go on their website, or you can apply to them through like Target Jobs or something like that. Target Jobs, GradCracker, those are like my go-to ones that I highly recommend to anyone applying for graduate schemes. But make sure that you are equipped with all of the information when going into the graduate hiring process. If you don't know much about graduate schemes and you want to fast track your progress of getting onto Base Systems graduate scheme or any other graduate scheme, then I highly recommend that you check out my Graduate X course in the description below. Full video course that goes through everything you need to know or how to pass each stage of the process. So go check that out if you are interested. And that is everything for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.